Hello, Frank. Hey, Brenda, how's it going? Skyfly, how you doing? Frank's here, and Brenda. How's your little angel doing, Brenda? Good, I hope. Yep, TGIF, Skyfly, I get it. Angel is crazy. Thanks for asking. Well, Boone's been a little bit of a wild man too. He's been in and out, in and out, in and out. I got the door cracked. He goes out for a while, it comes in for a while, goes out for a while. But this afternoon, when I was in my chair, kind of vegging back a little bit, he slept right along with me, and now he's back fired up again. There's Dominic. How you doing, Dominic?
Good morning and good evening to you and everybody else.
Yes. Well, it's just after 5 o'clock here, so I guess you
Yep.
qualify that as evening, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Usually most people think 6 o'clock is the
Yeah. No, no. It says Brenda crashed the drone.
she did.
It says here, crashed my drone today. I guess I'm a droner. Hello, Joel, Jody, Brenda, Jim.
That's not good.
Mm.
Well, that was my only concern is she's not that good at flying. My concern was that maybe she should get one of those drones that have the covers on the props and everything, and they run them
Yeah,
into the wall, they get down, they
yeah, the prop guards.
yeah,
Hello, Randy.
prop guards, but they're also almost indestructible. People
Mm.
running them in buildings and they fall to the ground, they get them out and put them up there air again. Brenda, does it still work?
Yep. Need to replace 3 props.
Okay.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah,
That's Derek.
crashing is part of
Hi,
flying, right?
Mark. Yeah,
Comes Mark.
yeah. I read his message. Uh, hello, Mark.
Hi, Dominic, Paul.
Hey, how's it going? Brenda crashed her drone.
Yeah, I've been listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
So 3 props, Brenda, is that what you got to get?
Yep.
You can probably get those right on eBay, can't you?
Yeah.
If it's only props that damaged, that's
Yep. You
nothing
change your
bad.
floor then.
Yeah. It's only, what, $10 at the most for a set.
I don't know. I've never used Autel, so I can't say. They're
Yeah, I would
about,
say it's got to be in that range. $10 to $12,
I don't remember how much I paid for the Mavic 3 props. I think I paid 50 for a set.
That's expensive.
Well, what she should do is buy a set of 4.
Yeah.
That'll give her an extra,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe.
Low battery
Yep.
loss. Yeah, okay.
Y'all slipping.
Hi, Joe.
How
What's
are
up?
you today?
I'm good.
Oh, good.
Brenda crashed her Autel.
Not bad.
Well, she said she just needs props, but crash with low battery, lost control. My bad, she said.
Mm.
And never let that battery go below 30.
Yep,
Yeah.
You're used to
you
it.
get to 25 or 30%, you better be getting ready to land.
Yep.
It depends if you know the drone. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, you bring it back at, I generally bring back at 40 and land at 30.
Yeah, I thought I sent you extra props with it, but there you go.
That's good.
And the props go on differently. These
Yeah,
props are
clockwise,
front,
counterclockwise.
yeah.
It should tell you on the prop.
You know, as you take
One
them
goes
off,
where.
make sure you got the look the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
yeah. The counter, the left front and the right rear are the same pitch.
Yeah.
And the front right left and the front right.
It should say it on the prop somewhere
Yep.
that they'll line up.
Why is this not letting me pick up different ones? Oh, this is stupid. Another thing with the Neo.
Oh,
You know?
That's
Yeah.
your favorite.
Well, Neo set to automatically
Yeah.
record. That's how I've got it set up.
mm.
It didn't record my first flight.
Wow.
So that didn't work. Okay. Just now, I'm trying to copy more than one of the files, and it's only letting me copy one at a time. I should be able to copy all the files at one time.
Hmm.
Another thing with the Neo.
Well, that's why a lot of guys went for the Flip because it's got the SD card and everything, and it.
Well,
It-
well, that's just because y'all lazy and y'all don't want to plug it in. I plug it in, it's
Exactly.
all right there.
Y'all.
It's all right there. I can drag them across. That's no problem.
Hello,
When I
Warren.
try to copy all three together, it won't let me copy one at a. It makes me do one at a time.
One at a time.
But it's no look. All I do is that. I'm done. You know. It's harder for me to take a SD card out of someone.
So what you're trying to tell us is your favorite drone in the world, the Neo,
It's not the Neo. It's not the Neo.
but you were flying it.
I was trying to help it into the day because it felt lonely on my desk for the last 2 months.
Warren's here. Yep.
Akira show.
I Warren.
Warren, rather that. It's easier.
Yeah. Hopefully he's going to get to the South Florida drone meetup so that someone can find him.
They'll never know him. So let's see. Let me go
Someone's
through
got to work it out.
Brenda, Joel, Jim. Jody's here today. Where's
Just
Frank?
read my.
Jody's
Yeah,
in today. Yep.
Both
Then
of
you got Randy. And you got
I'm just going to say, just read my post out, Joe.
Warren. What? I do what?
Just read
Mark was just slapping you.
Just read my post out. It's got all the names on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go to too much reading.
Yeah, and the other thing too is Mad Props says you can never have too many extra sets of props.
I just looked on eBay, and there is only actually one person selling the Nano props. There's loads of them selling the Evo,
Yeah.
which are quick release, but the Nano is the screw down ones, and
Yeah.
they're like nearly £15 for two pairs.
The 2 pairs would be a whole set.
No,
There's 2. No.
because there are 2 props screwed down onto one motor. That's a
Yeah,
pair of
yeah.
props.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not a full set with each change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I made the mistake when I bought maybe 3 props. I said, can I get one set? And they gave me a whole set. And then I realized that in the package you get 4 props. You get 2 props, but 2 props plus 2 props. Now I've got eight props. So I got twice as many as I needed. Because when I said a set, I thought, oh, I'm just 2 props. But when they interpreted a set, they interpreted a set as being the whole 4 props.
All 4, yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up buying 8 props. Have I got it? Oh, put him away.
They're pretty pricey on Amazon. I'm going to screen share.
Yeah.
Right there, 1822
Mm.
for a full set.
Well, that's the same price and would only get you 2 lots of props on one for 2 arms.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good price though. But
That's all right if it's for all 4 lots.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm.
$18.22 delivery by April the 8th or 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
On this one, if you order this for another $1 more, you get them by Sunday, the March the 23rd.
That's pretty good because that's the day after tomorrow.
Well, I'm trying to look and see what this is. That's the Neo? Is
Neo,
that
yeah.
That's the Neo.
that's the one she's got, right?
No,
No,
she's
the
got the Nano,
Nano.
not the
The
Neo.
Nano. Okay.
That says DJI, Paul.
Yeah,
That's the
Neo
trash
is,
drone.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Neo is Joe's favorite.
NANO.
Lance's favorite for sure. Since Lance got the Neo, he don't fly to Avada 2 anymore. Telemetry one. But I flew the Neo out by the lakefront, by the gazebo. And like I said, the first flight didn't even record. And I might have it. I actually look at the goggles. I might have it in the goggles.
You should have it on the cache on the remote. Yeah.
Free
No,
delivery by
did
Sunday.
not pick it up. I used the what you call it? It was the Neo with the goggles and the stick. But it should be on my goggles because both of them supposed to start together, but none of them did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
There you go, Brenda.
$20.
$20 and they're free delivery by the
For
weekend.
$20, they need to bring them to you. We'll look and see if it's on the telemetry. I don't think it is.
6 hours and 44 minutes, Brenda. You have to order them in order to get them by the weekend. But
No.
it shows how they go on.
To the
Yeah, you should get new screws which have got
Maybe.
Loctite on them,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you need a Phillips
Yeah.
P triple zero, is it?
000, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have the one with the telemetry on it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that should be saved automatically in the cache.
Mm.
Now, I want to see the part where I clipped the tree. No, I don't have it. There's the other flight. Yeah, the Neo chips, I tell you, I really don't like it. Because I'm going 11 miles an hour and it looks like it's going 2 or 3.
Hmm.
It just, and it's got to be the processing of the video.
Mm.
Pitiful.
Yeah.
That's the Neo, that's the Avata, that's the Avata. That first flight never did record or anything. After I turned it off and turned it back on, it came up to let me record it. Think what's gonna have to happen, it's gonna have to crash. And I'm going to send it back so I get a brand new one. I can sell it brand new.
Hey, Justin.
Hello. Good evening. And
Hey,
welcome.
Justin.
Justin. So
Now, who was it that introduced his television shows that way, Dominic?
Just it's gone out of my head.
Well-
Came into my head for a second, that's why I said it, and then no, it's gone.
Well, you're talking about a TV was here.
Yeah, it
Johnny.
was it was an English. I seem to remember it's
Yeah.
an English program.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny Carson used to get what was his sidekick's name? Here's Johnny.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
Ed McMahon.
It was,
Then it was Doc Severinsen that did the music.
I think, Michael Parkinson.
That was it. Yeah, Michael Parkinson. Hello, good evening and welcome. Yeah.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah, Michael Parky.
Ed McMahon was
One of the
One of
great
the big-
TV show hosts.
he was one of the
Yorkshireman.
Wilson
Publishers
guys.
Clearinghouse, and we could barely hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you very good,
He's
Justin.
on that Timo mic.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
No, at Publisher Clearinghouse. He never actually was part of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Look up the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Mandela?
Everybody thinks he was part of the Publisher Clearinghouse, but he never was.
Hmm. That is a great rabbit hole to go down. Watching videos on the Mandela effect. You can sit there for 5 and 6 hours just auto playing videos, and you go, I don't remember that. Or you think you remember it and go, huh?
What's up, Jim?
I do remember.
Warren,
I think,
Joel, Brenda.
was he Australian, I wonder? I think he was
Who?
Australian.
No, they were
The
American.
most famous
Ed McMahon.
Australian that presented holiday programs.
Bill Peach?
I was thinking along the lines of Alan Wicker.
Oh, yeah. I just, the first name that came to my head was Bill Peach and the Leyland brothers. They were the first two people Alan Wicker. Yeah, another great television presenter.
There were lots. Michael
Definitely in terms of travel programs.
David Dimbleby, David Frost.
David Dimbleby, yeah, I remember him.
David Frost.
Oh, David Frost, yes.
That's Jack
Okay.
Frost's cousin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David
So
Frost. David Frost interviewing Richard Nixon.
So it says Ed McMahon did not work for Publishers Clearinghouse. He was a spokesperson for American Family Publishers, a company that modeled its business after Publishers
yes.
Clearinghouse, leading to the
Oh, that's a
common
lie.
misconception.
Huh. Joe doesn't
Somebody,
believe it.
it wasn't. They're jealous. That's all they're trying to make it a lie.
You'd be surprised though how many people actually think he was. They all swear up and down they remember him doing it. Crazy conspiracy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a psyop.
Are you standing or sitting further away from your microphone? Or has your piece of tape come undone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not come undone.
Well, it's definitely lower than normal.
Let me check my. Oh, that's because the mic settings turned down on the Zoom. That's why.
Oh, that's probably why, yeah.
I just turned it up.
Okay, Paul. Another thing about the Neo, when you do a self-droning, autonomous droning, it goes all the way back, stops, turns the video off, then turns the video off to come back.
Mhm.
Why just stop?
Yeah, it does stop the video at the end of it, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you got a glitch in the middle. First off, don't record coming back. It don't need to. You were doing a freaking droning, not a reverse droning.
Uh-huh.
So why record? You know?
Well, there you go. You get a reverse droning out of it as well. 2 for 1.
I could
love
reverse
it.
that with the film. No matter.
Yeah, but the only problem with reversing a droney though is if there's cars or anything in it. You'll
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
going backwards, which looks funny.
Yeah. Looks like the weather calmed down a bit in over your way, Justin.
I'll be right back,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
No
Sunny,
worries.
sunny
take
weather
over.
on the Gulf and no wind today.
yeah, it's been sunny most of the day today. I watched that documentary on Netflix about the Joplin tornado. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, it was
Give me
all
something to
the
watch this afternoon at least.
yeah, it was
Haven't
all
got
the
much to watch.
it was all the survivors and stuff from it, and what they're like actual like footage from their cell phones and everything. Yeah, it's pretty wicked.
What you're saying would be more interesting than Art Show?
Well, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
If he starts talking about the Philippines again, I'm getting off.
Oh, you
I'm
know
tired of
he
hearing
will.
about the Philippines.
Yeah, that's the
And
first question we've got to ask him. Have you been to the Philippines?
no, the worst part is he starts talking about the Philippines, and now he's talking about his girlfriend. He was talking about his fiance. So what, he didn't send her enough money or what?
Yeah.
Oh, he was engaged to a girl first,
Yeah.
and then she finished with him. And I think that's his current fiance's cousin or something.
I think so.
I think they are
Shoot.
related.
Never
Yeah.
mind. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Oh, Justin, I don't know if you heard, my son resigned yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Why? What happened?
Well, I heard the whole story today. Remember, they had a lieutenant that about 10 of them put in IA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And the lieutenant said he was going to get everybody back, right? So the lieutenant put Justin in IA on that third accident and tried to fire him and trying to say he was trying to hide the fourth one. Then the lieutenant was joking around with one of the other officers saying, if you got a new officer saying, if you have any problem with the body cam, I know where we can hide the cameras. At the bottom of the river, they can't find them. And they look back at his history and they found 2 cameras missing and controversial missing, you know? So they put him on administrative leave. So Justin was on a call. He actually got his call back, and he was going on. When he realized he got his call back, he didn't have the keys for his house and handcuffs and nothing else. He had left them in the police car that they brought him in. That friend of his drove, and the guy had gone home, and he lived right on the edge of Covington's area. So he told the supervisor, he said, "It's all right if I run out there and get him," because it was quiet. He says, "Yeah, it only takes about 5 minutes, right?" He gets out there, and as he's coming back, they got a call of a possible burglary, door open. So one officer's there, so Justin's his backup. So Justin took off and got there, right? So yesterday after training, he gets called in saying, "You were speeding." Now, first off, he's going on a call, okay, to back up an officer. And he said,
Right.
yeah, I was in Mandeville's district, but when I got in my district, I wasn't speeding. He said, but I had to get back because we got an officer possibly suspects in the house. So they said, well, you got a choice. We either put you in IA, put you on administrative leave, or resign. Like
Right.
that. So and the supervisor said he couldn't help him, right? Came directly from the chief. Now, this is the best part. Today, it was announced that the lieutenant is coming back as the lieutenant back on shift 4. The IA is being dropped and the other one disappeared.
Oh, shit.
You ought to hear you ought to hear all of Justin's friends. I told Justin, I said, whether you ever listen to me or not, I said, everything I turned in, he said, everything's turned in. I said, you need to listen to me. There's no need for you to set foot anywhere in Covington. It's definitely, I guarantee that lieutenant had something on the chief and said, you're going to bring me back, and he's got to go. I guarantee you. I bet everything I got on that. But I said, do not go in Covington anywhere, just because he'll probably still try to get you for something.
Okay,
I
so
said, I don't care.
tell him
Nothing.
to fill out an application and send it to Grady, and he can come down here.
Well, I told him that. I said, go to, he wanted to go move to Florida. Like that. He's already got all that. He's got interviews, tests done, everything next week for Slidell. And they're actually making, I think it's $7 more an hour than he was making.
Oh, dude, if Grady found out his officers were trying to cover something up like that, oh, for fuck's sake, dude. He'd nail
Yeah, I
their ass to
guarantee
the
you.
wall so fucking quick.
I know. And that's what I said. The chief has no balls. It's probably something the chief did, the other guys got on him, you know? I said, but you know what? It might be the best thing, get away from him, get to a new department, work. And this is the department that trained him, with the academy. It's the Slidell Police Academy. And he came out #1 in the class, so they know him. And everything I've talked to, everybody that knows him and knows me says, man, we wish he'd come over here. So now they got a chance. Get him. And it's only 14 minutes from here. It's 15 minutes from here to Covington. So, and they drive charges too. So he'll get one.
What's up,
So
Jim?
just chill.
What's up, Randy?
And he's got vacation time they still have to pay, and paid sick time. It comes out to about, I think he said he's got like 2,000 hours plus some other time that they got to pay him.
It's
So
best to
he'll get
resign
about
anyway.
8-9 grand right up front before he
It's
goes
best-
anywhere.
Well, it's best to resign anyway, because if you don't resign and they fire you, then it's damn near impossible to get another job.
You never get a job again.
Yeah.
That's why he resigned. But everybody that he works with on his shift says, that's all right, let the lieutenant step out of line. All of them are going to go to bat, But he's already said the 3 main guys on his shift said, bullshit, we're done. We got to start looking to,
Does his
Well.
pension get transferred across as well?
yeah, everything does. Because he's civil service. So
Yeah,
he's
dude.
not, he's just getting all his money instead of vacation time. He's going to get paid. He's on vacation, you could say. And it said the only problem is HR said it could take up to 6 months like that, but he's not going to take that long, because all he got to take is he's got to take a civil service with them. He's got to have the physical, and he said something else he's got to do. He's got to bring him a bunch of paperwork. He's got everything ready, and he's already done the application. So he said everything will be done next week. So I got a feeling it'll be about 2 to 3 weeks he'll be on.
Yeah,
They may fast track him, bring him on right away.
the last 2 times deputies here tried to cover something up and Grady found out about it. Yeah, they were all over the fucking news. Immediately
Yeah.
went to jail. Yeah, you don't play that bullshit.
That's all right. It's not the first stuff that happened,
Because we had those 3 deputies that stole fucking $1,200 out of the fucking evidence. $1,200 fucking dollars, and you split it between 3 ways, and that was worth your career and going to jail.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
not.
morons.
People don't realize that.
And when the lady in the evidence room realized it was missing, she went and told her sergeant that was in charge of that area. It went straight up to Grady's office, and those three deputies ended up losing their job and going to prison.
Yep.
And it was all because the thing was, his evidence wouldn't have known it was missing, but the girl that got arrested and that they confiscated the money from, her charges ended up being dropped. And so she came back to the sheriff's department to pick up all her belongings that they had took from her. And guess what
And the
wasn't in the
money was gone.
evidence? But it was written in the affidavit that they put the money in there.
Yep.
And then they went over the guy's cell phones, the three deputies, and they found that they were talking back and forth, trying to figure out how they were going to get the money back in there.
That was like the night that picked up the guy. There was a guy that got in an accident, a Vietnamese guy, and he was a paraplegic, got in an accident, tore up his car, and he's on his wheelchair, and the police were holding the wheelchair. They said, "Yeah, the guy's going crazy. He's got a fanny pack on him that we won't let nobody near, right? And he's got in the front, like a little pouch. He
Bum
won't let
bag.
anybody near it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, wouldn't let anybody near it, right? And he's on his wheelchair. And when they let the wheelchair go, he's trying to run out into traffic to commit suicide because he disgraced his family, right? He's a Vietnamese guy. So we get there, and I tell him, dude, and I lock the wheelchair up. I said, you're not going out there. I'll take you off the wheelchair first. And he's fighting me and everything. So we put him on the stretcher, took him out the wheelchair, said, now he ain't going nowhere. And I had him lock him up, and I went to reach. He started having a fit when I reached for the fanny pack, the little thing. And I said, what? What is the matter? He said, don't take it. I said, I don't take anything. What's in it? Is something going to hurt me? And he goes, no. He said, I got paid today. I said, well, I'm not going to touch your money. I said, but you're going to the hospital, and they want you to go to the hospital to the psychiatric ward because you're trying to kill yourself. To let them talk to you. So I've got to count your money, and we'll put it all in the report. That's what I'm telling him, right? I unzipped that thing. He had I can't remember the exact, it's like $18,000 in there. And I looked over at Bender, the state trooper, and I said, Bender, you need to come over here. And he said, what did you find? I said, no, it's just money. But you're counting it and I'm counting it, and we're both signing it. And we sat there and counted it all and signed everything. And I told the guy, I said, did we count it right? He says, yes. And I said, I put a little note in the thing. I said, you initially, like this. I said, I'm going to put it right back in there because he couldn't touch it because he was handcuffed. But I'm going to put it right back in there until we get to the hospital. Then I'm going to have them sign for it. Like that. So we know the money's legit. So the guy was cool then, right? Get to the hospital. Security walks up. I said, I got this money here. That's the whole amount. It's like 18,000, something like that. Then she goes, yeah, give it to me. I'll go put it in the safe. I said, you're going to sign for it. She goes, oh, we don't have anybody to sign for it. I said, you're taking it from me. You're signing for it. Like this. And the guy looked at me and said, you good. I've already signed with you. Like that. I got on my phone. I called up Jody that was working the dispatch. Jody, I said, I need to come in. I said, we got money to put in the safe. I said, security at Charity Hospital is trying to take it from me without signing for it. And there ain't no way in hell this asshole's going to get it from me. I said, it's just like that over the mic. She was 10 for. I walked in. I told the guy, I wrote it out that I have it. It'll be at American Medical Response. And I'll make sure it's signed for there. And I'll give you, I said, I'll come back tonight. Make sure you know who's got it. And when I walked in there and Jody looked at me and I handed the money, we counted it. She goes, you gotta be kidding me. I said, you can't tell me that guard wasn't gonna lose some of it on the way up there. They weren't taking it out of my hand until they signed for it.
That is a lot of vacation time, Randy. Sounds like Brenda's puppy's doing good.
Well, it's 2,000 hours between paid sick and vacation and everything they get.
2,000 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 hours a week. That's about 5 years.
No, they work more than 40 hours a week. They usually will do what, 4 12-hour shifts a week? So
Well, he's been
48 hours.
on 3 years.
That's
3 years.
48 hours.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken many vacations. That's what he was telling me. It's around 2,000 hours between sick pay he hasn't taken, and it carries over, you know.
Well, see, some jobs, yeah, your sick time and your vacation can carry over. And then some companies will buy you out at the end of the year down to a certain amount. Like
Yeah.
Walmart used to buy you out down to 80 hours. So they would let you keep 80 hours to roll over,
Yep.
but anything above that they had to buy you out on. So some people that were there for 25, 30 years that were getting like 400 hours of vacation time a year, dude, they were getting big fat checks at the end of the year. Because there were some of them that never took
50
any
weeks. Yeah,
vacation.
that's what
So
I thought, mate. Randy, Mad Props,
Well, I reckon that adds up to 40 weeks.
40, 50. Yeah, close enough.
I couldn't tell you.
Well,
Couldn't tell
well,
you.
like
That's the number you
At,
told me.
fi-
I remember that.
at 50 hours a week, 2,000
Yeah.
hours is 40 weeks.
Yeah. But
Well,
just
you
on
get,
the
you get
average,
sick
40
time
hours a week.
for every. I think every hour they work, or every 2 hours. I think it's every hour they work, they get a portion of sick time added in. You figure it working details, it's added in, everything else. And he works a lot.
cops do work a lot of overtime though.
Mm.
I said most cops will do
Yeah, well,
more 12s a
yeah.
week
So
and
his
then have
sick
3
time
days
will
off.
increase, but his leave won't. Your leave
Well,
is
he hasn't
paid.
taken any vacation since he's been there, and it's 2 weeks a year. So that's 6 weeks right there.
Right. That's not a
He
lot.
says, "Why should I take vacation time when I got every other day off? Every 2 days off." There's no way he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, Randy. Yeah, that's what I
He
was.
was getting ready to go up to North Carolina. That's the way I can't wait to hear that. Because when his brother gets down here and takes the AR back, I'm gonna tell him you need to leave the AR here since you're gonna be going and leave it. Don't leave it at your house for 9 months. Just leave it here.
Mhm.
Take it when you come back. But you're gonna tell his brother you owe me 100 now since you didn't bring it to me. I want to see that fight. I might
Yeah,
get
well,
on too.
my dad used to do when he worked for the fire department. He did what? Hold on. Let me do the math here. Yeah, he was getting paid because he was doing 24-hour shifts every other day.
Yeah.
So technically they were on the clock 96 hours a week
Jesus.
because they would work 24-hour shifts. They'd have 24 hours on, 24 hours off, 24 hours on, 24 hours off. That's how they did it. So technically within a 7-day period, you rack up 96 hours.
Yeah. That was
Granted, you're
about
not
6.
working, not half of that
Yeah.
time. You're pretty much sleeping and hanging out at the firehouse and stuff.
Yeah.
And doing,
Yeah.
not like you're working 96 hours straight or nothing. But they were also salary too, so they didn't get paid hourly. Because you imagine 96 hours a week, 2 hourly pay, that fucking rack up quick.
Yeah.
Making like $15,000 a month as a firefighter.
Yeah. I mean, we were on salary, but being on salary meant you didn't get paid any overtime.
Right.
But the
Yeah,
nice
you
thing
don't.
about it is you never got asked to do any overtime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't get paid overtime definitely when you're salary, and if you work a shit ton of overtime when you're salary, then you barely make you'll probably end up making less than your employees will.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way it was at Walmart. The assistant managers especially during the holidays between September and January, they would make these managers work 12-hour shifts every day for and they only got a half day off a week. That was it. And you mind you, they're making 49.5 a year starting off. And you break that down, some employee that's making 25,000 a year, they're actually making less than them an hour when you break it down.
Yeah.
This 49.5 is the minimum you have to meet now as salary. Otherwise, they do have to pay you overtime.
Hmm.
So if you
I
pay
don't
somebody,
know. I don't think it works that way over here. It's just a question of whether you're hourly paid or salaried.
well, a few years ago they made it to where it had to be a mandatory minimum amount of pay. Otherwise, you couldn't ask somebody to work shit tons of overtime and then paying them the same
Yeah.
rate. So they put a base minimum of $49,500 a year is what you have to pay a salary manager if you want them to work a bunch of overtime. Otherwise, you have to compensate them for that. So most companies will meet that 49.5 because it's cheaper than what they'll end up paying in overtime and taxes and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you definitely know what you're signing up for, but I'll tell you what, dude, the system managers would come and go so frequently because they would get
That's it.
burnt out so quick. I mean, I've seen assistant managers half the time they'd make it maybe a year or two, and then they'd just get so burnt out that they would just quit
Mm.
or they'd step down.
Yep.
But then Walmart got real harsh on salary managers. Oh, you can't step down. If you step down, you're fired, type thing. So you were forced to either stay in that position, move up, or you quit.
That's that simple goodness when I worked over there. From Thanksgiving on, Thanksgiving Day, day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. That's when they started their Christmas rush. So what we would do is everybody at work there went to instead of a 5-day week, it was a 6-day week. And it was from the time we opened in the morning till the time he decided to let the last person out and close. He didn't go past 8 at night, but there was a couple of times that we were there till 8 at night.
Yeah, that's the one advantage. That's some of the advantages of being hourly too. Is like when I was an hourly supervisor at Walmart, I didn't have to stay late. They couldn't force me to work overtime. If I told them I had things to do, I had to get home. They had to let me go. They couldn't say anything to me. I had to volunteer for it. But then there was other assistant managers that would be on vacation that were salary that would come in and they would make them start stocking the shelves while they were in there shopping with their fucking family. They'd tell them, they would see them walking down the aisle, and one of the co-managers would come by and say, "I need you to go stock the Gatorade," and they'd have to do it. Like, fuck that shit.
I wouldn't do it. No.
That's why I used to
Wouldn't
tell
be shopping at Walmart.
I used to give new assistants advice when they'd come in. The one thing I'd tell them, I was like, if you take a vacation, don't show your face around town, and tell them you're going 4 states over for vacation.
Yep.
That you won't be in state, because otherwise they will call your ass in 3 days into your vacation because they're shorthanded and tell you have to come back to work. But if you're out of state, then they can't call you because you're not there.
Mm.
I used to tell them all the time, I'm like, tell them you're going, up to North Carolina or somewhere crazy, just tell them you're going out of state to visit family and you won't be available.
Yep. What you worried about, Paul?
My tenant's son came down and helped me adjust one of my cameras outside.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And so
But you-
Boone now is over, got him pinned on the couch and licking the hell out of him.
I thought you were worried about Boone. Need to have him start that generator.
Get him to put a harness on it and take it for a walk.
Put
That's
Paul
the
in a harness
generator.
and what?
Yeah, harness on
generator.
what? The generator.
Not the
I
generator.
do not
the
want to
dog.
see a harness on Paul. Believe me.
Dog.
That's
If anything,
that's going back into my past, Joe.
if anything, the dog needs to walk.
Too much information,
Paul.
Yeah, the dog will be walking Paul. Yeah.
No,
I
I mean,
don't want to see
he said
him in
his
a
son
harness
can
with a
take
whip.
it for a walk while he's there.
Hey, Dominic, I found the perfect song
Take your time.
for this Neo flight. The
Mhm.
name of the song is "You're Not the One."
Yes.
You're not the one. Piece of trash, bro.
TJ end up posting his video of his unboxing he was supposed to
Yep.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he
did.
did.
Don't know.
I've watched it, so yeah, he did.
I'm just gonna say then. You remember the program called The Dinosaurs?
Yeah, vaguely.
Like what's it? They were wasn't cartoon. It was animated,
Yeah,
computer generated. Wasn't it?
yeah.
And what did the baby always call the dad?
No.
Papa.
No, you, not the mama.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, by the way, you can post longer than 1 minute shorts now.
Yeah, they're 3 minutes.
Yeah. They did the same thing TikTok did. That's what TikTok
Thank you,
originally
Donald.
it was up to 1 minute and then they
And Donald.
they
And
went to
Don.
3 minutes.
Dunster. Ah.
Donald.
Brandy.
What's
Yep.
up, Donald? Yeah, it's the same thing
Brandy.
TikTok did. Originally it was 1 minute, then they went to 3 minutes, and I think now you can post up to like fucking 30 minutes or some shit now. Or 10 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
Well, they're not
Actually,
short videos then.
I actually got figured that out the other day because I posted a 2 minute video and I thought it was going to go in as a video and it went in as a short because that was what it was shot in. And I was like, oh shit, it took the whole 2 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? When I realized it went up as a short, I thought it cut it. And then I went and looked at it and yeah, the whole 2 minutes of the video were there.
Mm.
Because usually I get a letter every month from YouTube that tells me about all the new features and stuff that they're coming out with. I didn't
Yep.
get anything about that. So I must have missed it in one of the emails or something. But if you use their music only 1 minute, that's probably because that's all they have the rights to use of.
Yeah.
Because like there's AC/DC in the shorts music, but if you try to post AC/DC on a video and post it to your channel, it
Yeah.
won't let it do it. So they must only have music rights up to a minute. That's the only thing I can think of. What were y'all looking up on Amazon earlier?
Props.
Oh,
Props for the Nano.
props for Brenda's Nano. She
Yeah.
crashed it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, broke 3 props.
Broke.
How'd she manage to do that?
Low battery.
Mm.
Oh,
Yep.
I'd actually say that's probably one of the hardest parts about flying a drone is just paying attention to everything on the screen
Yep.
because you got a lot of information on the screen. And if you're not paying
Well,
attention, if you're focused on one thing, you might not be paying attention to the other.
Don't the hotel
You know,
have the same
it's your
feature as
best buddy, you know?
DJI where it does a return to home when the battery gets below a certain amount?
Yeah, but she could have been like when you're looking at a fucking agreement when you're signing up for an app and just clicked it too quick. It's like, it said danger land. She was like, okay. Yeah, I don't know how
What you
she.
do is ask him if he wants to go outside.
Now, one thing I did notice
You can
today,
sneak out.
because I was flying at about 12 miles an hour with the Neo, and when I make a turn, I was turning it fast with the motion controller. So instead of it just making
Go ahead
a
and get
big
us
bank,
the treats.
I turned it real fast to try to come back. And I kind of liked the way it did that because it didn't have the power to bring it right back. So it kind of just float and then take off. So that's the only thing I did like about it. But when I went through that one branch with a video, it did not video. I thought I lost it. I didn't even see the branch. thing wobbled all around and went through the gazebo, almost hit the gazebo on both places.
It also could have been a panic mode too, you know, some people when they're first flying,
Yeah.
they'll do that or they'll panic and not realize
Yeah.
what to do. I mean, everybody's done that at one point or another when they first started flying.
Mhm.
It's just like people that panic when their drone starts getting taken by the wind or
Mm,
it gets like almost stuck in place because it's trying to fight a strong wind current.
yeah,
They don't realize just to drop it and zigzag.
yeah. Work your way around it.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Hey, boom.
Just like I've had when I used to fly with an iPad, I had the iPad shut off on me a couple times because it got
Mm.
overheated.
Yeah,
And I just, instead of panicking, I just hit the return to home, wait for that little double beep
Yeah.
and just sat there and just hoped it came back. That's all I could do.
Yeah, my neighbor's son came down to help me, and he
Oh, yeah.
came in to say hello to Boone, and Boone just tackled him right onto the couch, and he was sitting there petting him for like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Finally, he had to trick him to give him a couple treats, and then pretend like he's going to let him out. As soon as he went out, he shot to the door here, and Boone comes, just almost like Super Dog.
I've always said that, Brenda. It's not a matter of if you're going to crash. It's just a matter of when you're going to crash.
When, yeah,
Yep,
Because
yep.
it will happen to everybody at some point.
It's not if, it's when. Yep.
And it will be either something you did or it could just be something the drone did itself. That's out of your control. You know, there's been drones that literally just flew the fuck off on people and they couldn't reconnect with it.
yeah.
You must
Well,
be talking about Matt.
She's got to
Yeah.
get some props.
Especially the more you fly. If you're somebody that
I
flies
thought you
every
sent her
day
props.
on a
I
regular,
did send her props, but she needs to keep a few props extra spares.
Yeah.
Because, you know, on that one, it's the one where you individually screw down each prop into the hub. So it
Yeah.
isn't like you might have a pair of them, but you might have a pair that's left and right and left and right and left and right. So, you know, I think I sent her the 4 props, but
All the minis have
oh, stop.
screw down ones.
Well,
yeah,
are they, Joe? Are the I can't remember the Neo. Are they individual props screwed down into the hubs, or are they?
No,
Pair.
it's a little
the
pair.
Neo.
It's a little whole prop,
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
screwed down.
It still screws down, but it's got 3 props on it.
Yeah.
like I said, if you're somebody that flies, there's some people that fly every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, your chances of crashing are even higher.
hmm
Always
Something may
have
happen.
spare props. Always have spare props.
Well, it's good to change them out once in a while too, just to do it.
Yeah, that's one thing I check every time is I look at the props, make sure they look good.
Yep.
Because like I said, I've flown all those flights on my Mavic 3, same props. But there's nothing wrong with them.
I remember the very first drone meetup, the very first one they had, and I went to it. I hit a damn tree limb and didn't even realize it with the Air 2 until I got home and started looking at the video. Didn't even I saw that I got close to the tree, but I didn't realize I actually hit it. And if it would have fucked the drone up, it would have went right down in the water because it was above the water. And I didn't even realize I hit the branch till I went over the drone footage when I got home.
Yeah, well, you know, the good learner drone is either the Avata or the Neo,
Yeah.
because the way it's constructed, you can't destroy them, you know.
And the Mini 2, I flew that right into a fucking light bulb.
Mm.
Still don't know how the fuck I did that.
Well, Joe's good at hitting light poles, aren't you, Joe?
I come close
That
to
is
hitting the fire plug today.
About as good as
Oh, I was hit that one. And they got a pole. You see in this one. I come close to it again.
yeah, he's about as good as Paul hitting a bridge or cables.
Yeah, yeah, power cables over top of the river,
And Paul had to watch his fucking drone float away on an iceberg.
float away on an ice floe, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's what
had
I
some
do.
close calls
I
in
do
this
that,
video.
Randy. I check the props every time I take it out.
Here, I'm going to show you. Watch some of these close calls.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
this
true,
is the
Randy.
deal.
That's how I used to check mine, Randy. My fingers.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I would run my fingers along the edge of the blades and everything, and
Here we go.
Bye.
Let's right about here.
Remember not to press too hard or you'll cut your finger open.
I'm trying to find this one spot. It was a close. It was after this one's going to be a close call. Cut back, yeah. Watch this yellow pole right here.
Oh, fire hydrant too.
Oh,
oh yeah, the guide wire. You almost hit that guide wire.
yeah.
Yeah, almost took that out. Then watch this tree coming up. I got to watch people walking too. I'm trying not to hit these people too. Watch this tree.
Whoa,
Yeah, that's what I'm
Whoa.
saying.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
found many a props jacked up by checking them like that, Randy.
Exactly.
That's how I figured out I hit the tree was when I got home because I had landed the Air 2 and I just stuck it back in the bag and I didn't fly the rest of the day because it was
There was
so
one where you had a
fucking windy.
branch stuck up in there.
No, it was just so windy that day is when after I did that flight, I put it away and I just didn't fly the rest of the day. I was hanging out more than anything. And when I got home, I noticed a nick in the blade. So I went back and started looking at the footage and realized I hit a tree branch. But when I hit the light pole, I still don't know how I did that. I literally took the Mini 2 straight up and then started going out, ran right into the light pole. The fucking Mini 2 bounced off of it and then went forward again and then it folded the front arm in and just went straight to the fucking ground. Fucked everything up. The camera, everything was fucked. Body was all jacked up. And it didn't even land on anything hard. It just landed on some soft grass, but it was still enough to fuck it up.
Mm.
Because that light pole was probably 50, 60 feet high.
Mm.
And it hit the very top of it. That was the day I went and flying FPV with Dan, and then that Hawk tried to get his drone, and then he put up the one with the S4 battery, or it was a big ass FPV drone. That Hawk fucking took the fuck off. He wasn't fucking with that drone. I was just flying like a little tiny Hawk type drone.
They arrested a guy in Florida today for human trafficking. And they arrested him under a 1798 terrorist law of the United States.
Here's Lance, and guess
What
what
did
it
he
is
do?
tonight?
He's part of the Trinidad, or whatever it's called. And they arrested him because he's considered an
Yeah,
enemy to
right.
the United States under the 1798 law.
It's pizza night, Lance.
Yes,
Yep,
pizza
you know what
night.
tonight is. You're right.
Yay!
Sweet.
No, it's
I was
build
going to
night.
get pizza and I forgot.
It's build night. I got to build.
Yep. Building pizza.
Hey, Rod.
Oh, scratch your 10 up.
I got this weekend to finish this drone.
No.
Good news is, I don't think I'm really that far off.
I got a doctor's bill for $4. It probably costs more to send this fucking envelope to me.
Yeah.
I'll call them and settle for $2.
Yeah.
Tell them I'll pay them $2 to take it off the account.
Yeah, sorry, I can't afford that. Will you take 1 cent a week?
Yeah,
I'll pay it off over
it's
three
Over 12
months.
months?
it's $4.91. I'll tell them I can't pay the $4.91. I'll do 2.
10 cents a week.
Send it to your insurance.
I was just thinking too, but Randy, how the hell did you scratch your tent? But you said, yeah, your door was open. I was like, your tent shouldn't have been on the outside of your windows. It didn't register with me right away.
I stopped at Popeyes on the way home,
Okay.
and
Again?
I got the flounder sandwich.
Nice.
So it's
Okay.
in the refrigerator. I'm not gonna eat it right now. I'll eat it in a little while. I'll take the fish off, heat it up a little bit in the air
Yes.
fryer, and then I'll put it back on the bread, so the bread's not messed up.
Sarah
Do
brought a
they
bunch
put-
of.
Do they batter the fish first?
Oh yeah, it's all battered, and I got the one. See, the only thing is, if you get the classic or the spicy, you get the same fish. The difference is they don't make the fish spicy. They put a spicy mayo
Little
on it.
spicy batter on it.
Mm.
Yeah, no, there's not a batter. They put a spicy mayo,
All right.
and I don't like the spicy mayo, so I just don't give it a classic. I can put my own Cajun season on it.
Yeah, hot sauce on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'll wind up doing later.
Mhm.
Trying to think of what I want with it though. Yeah, that's what I might make some tater tots. That might eat that with it, might not. I don't know yet.
Oh, I know, right, Randy? Yeah, when you go on Amazon and get a $10 item in your cart and they want to offer you a $2,000 credit limit, you can
Oh,
get
I
it
know.
free today.
Yeah.
You can break these payments up $2 a month, interest
Yeah.
free. Fuck you.
What's wrong with mayonnaise?
I love mayonnaise. I just don't like Miracle Whip. I think that shit's gross.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, technically, Miracle Whip is a salad dressing, but people use it as a mayonnaise.
Well, mayonnaise is just egg white and olive oil.
Yep.
Yeah, the Miracle Whip, I don't know if you guys have that over there, but it's like a sweet mayonnaise and it's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more of it like a
Gross.
salad cream.
Well, salad cream is like mayonnaise with vinegar.
You
Yeah.
ever notice? You ever notice when Don was on, we get a trivia education, and when Mark's on, we get another education about food and everything else. You ever notice that?
Yeah, and then he always gives us the French, whatever the French saying is for a word.
Yeah.
So we get to learn a language. We get to
Well,
learn how to make
I
proper
didn't-
tea and everything else.
I didn't try and correct you on guide wire
Good.
because it's
God,
not
I didn't
called.
say guide wire. Justin did.
Yeah, I know. It's not called a guide wire. It's a guy wire.
a guy wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy
Are
wire.
you sure?
That doesn't sound
Positive.
right.
Are you positive?
I am.
Absolutely.
Are you pulling my leg?
That's not close enough. Hey, Lance, I flew to Neo today.
Oh, they
Oh,
are guy
sweet.
wires. I never knew that. I always called them guide wires.
Is it?
Because to me, it's guiding the pole to where it needs to
Hello,
stay
Ed.
the fuck in
Oh,
place.
Ed.
Ed, what's up, Ed?
Hello.
Good afternoon, everybody.
I really don't know why
Good
it's
evening.
called guide. But even tents have always got guy wires to hold them in place.
Or you could say tension cables. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. Depends where you are from.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever said guy wires before.
And I've always said guide wires because to me it makes more
Yeah.
sense because you're guiding the pole where you want it to stay the fuck in still and not move.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't know. That just made more sense to me in my head. I guess I've never had anybody actually tell me that, so I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you reading all the stuff that Randy, he was landing landing near his truck last summer, accidentally hit the control stick and slammed it right into his open door.
Yeah, I was talking to him a minute ago about that.
Yeah. I was flying with Johnny about a week ago, and I had the Mavic 3 coming in, and he jumps over there to get by it as I'm bringing it in. And he had to duck quick. I said, you don't have any hair to cut, man. What you doing?
I don't know, Randy. I'm pretty sure I remember you on a couple panels deep throating some hot dogs, but
It's you and the Twinkies.
Caravas Harmony.
And Justin, what were you doing?
What kind of
watching him
pizza
doing
today there, Lance?
do what?
that? Hey,
What?
I said, what were
Yeah, I
you
didn't
doing
wanna-
watching him doing that?
Got
Oh, what
negative
happened?
space today.
I knew that, Randy. I
Get
just didn't want to add to it.
Took pictures of negative space.
What kind of pizza Joe was wanting to know you were having
Oh,
tonight?
pizza. I don't know. Some type of cheese, and we'll probably put tomatoes on it. Probably put mushrooms on it.
Pepperoni.
What kind of meat you put on it? Pepperoni or what?
We won't put meat on it tonight.
Oh, because it's
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, Randy,
No,
I
that's not the reason.
but see, Randy, I asked Google. I said, "What are the cables that hold electrical poles in place?" And it said guy wires as GUI, not GEI.
Yeah.
That's what it came
Yeah.
up with. So I don't know. Is that
But it started
Yeah,
it
it's
started from Middle English, which was GUIE,
Yeah.
and then they just made it into GUI.
oh, okay?
Hey, Johnny,
GUY.
Johnny,
Hey, Johnny.
what's up?
but it was originally spelt GUIE, as in the early spelling for guide.
Well, that would be French
French, I meant.
in
sorry.
that spelling.
Well,
Yeah.
he's saying it's
Yeah.
from the Dutch word.
Yeah, but Dutch
GEI.
and French were
In Dutch, it would be pronounced Gui.
yeah,
What?
yeah, those Dutch
See what
people.
happens when I say his name,
spelling,
Johnny?
anyway.
He popped in like Beetlejuice.
His ears must have been ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe didn't really mean what he said about you, Johnny.
Oh, I did.
Johnny's going to the baseball game in a few, he says.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a P-51 Mustang RC plane one time, Jim, for about 10 minutes.
yeah.
And about
Yeah.
2 minutes of that was in the air. The bitch went nosedived right into the ground. It was a big one too. It was probably about probably had maybe a 2-foot wingspan, 2.5 foot. It wasn't a small one. It was all made out of like kind of like a
Oh, the original
styrofoam.
one. Oh, styrofoam. Not
Yeah.
a proper one with balsa wood and tissue paper.
No,
Oh,
this was a
okay.
styrofoam one that had all the shit built into it. It was a pre-built one.
Like an RTF.
I said I had it for about 10 minutes, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes in the air.
Johnny said, don't forget to wave at him. He's going to be on SBN. On TV, I guess. I had a good day.
It's what's it in it? Children
do
in
today?
need. Is it children in need?
What?
It is. It's a 24-hour television charity collection thing for children charities. And it's I think it's today. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm tired of going to every fucking store and fast food place and them asking me, "Did you want to round up an extra $1 for this charity?"
Yeah,
It's-
Every fucking company's
Yeah,
doing it.
that's
now.
aggravating me
Yeah.
too.
It's a bit
Yeah.
like Red Nose Day.
yeah.
Every place I go to
Yeah,
now,
it
they have
started
some damn
before it.
charity, and they want you to round your dollar
Yeah.
up to it.
They have the
They're
Pudsey
doing
bear,
that.
a
Yeah.
yellow teddy bear with a red
Yeah.
and white spotted eye patch.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing that at the moment for the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne.
Yeah.
'Cause they have a telethon on Good Friday.
Oh, that's another couple of weeks off yet.
I know
Exactly.
that, but what they do is for probably the 6 months earlier, they just collect for the hospital,
Mm.
and that's what usually happens. I say, "Oh, do you want, this and that and the other?" And
No, I went to McDonald's the other day. They wanted $1 for Ronald House, and then I went to the gas station. They were doing some kind of fucking charity. They were trying to sell me candy bars I didn't want. And then, oh god, every place you go now, it's like they want to ask you for money.
Justin, can you send me $2 for my charity for new socks?
Randy, he said, Justin, next time a cashier asks, ask them to round down and donate to your charity.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
I heard one of them. What's it? Them things on Facebook where the husband tells a joke to the wife who's supposed to laugh at it. And he said this guy went into the doctor's and he said, I've got something wrong and I haven't the foggiest idea what it is. I said, oh, go on, then what is it? He says, well, just listen to my hip. And he listens and it goes, lend me $20. I need $20. Please lend me $20. I says, oh God, that's weird. I've never come across that before. So he said, well, that's not all. He says, listen to my knee. And he listens to the knee and the knee's going, lend me $10. I need $10. Please lend me $10. I mean, can you spare $10? And he says, hellfire, that is weird. He says, that's not all. He says, listen to the ankle. He says, oh, the ankle's going, lend me $5. Please lend me $5. I need $5. Give me $5. He says, hell, I've not come across this before, but I have a feeling I know what's wrong with it. Your leg's broke in 3 places.
That's an odd joke.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that.
I want to get an F-22 remote control plane
Yeah.
at some point.
Now
Those are
you're
badass.
talking. Yeah.
Oh, you should have saw the one that AZ David was printing. He got this super extensive 3D print for an F-35.
Hmm.
And I mean, this thing is no joke. It's like a legit model.
Look,
And it's got the vertical takeoff and everything. You have to buy all the parts and everything for it.
Mm.
But it's probably the size of a fucking dinner table.
Wow.
No.
Good afternoon,
I don't know if
John
he ever finished it or not, but he was working on it about a year and a half ago, a while back. Let's see if I can find the guy's video that was doing it. He did it. He actually sells the plans and everything for it. You have to
Mm.
buy them from him.
The only bad part about that is, in order to fly something that big, you got to really do a super registration with the FAA. Because that's going to be way over the weight limit.
25 kilos.
I don't know. When you look at some of the stuff that, does it Pilot Institute make?
What's it? Well, what's it?
Is it Pilot Institute that makes all them RC planes and stuff, or is it one of the other ones?
I wouldn't have thought Pilot Institute. No, that's
no, it's
great.
not Pilot Institute.
Oh, which
It
one is
was,
it? There's one of the drone community that makes all sorts of different styrofoam models.
Oh, that's nice.
They did a
Flight-
hovercraft.
I think it's Flight Institute.
Could be. They did a hovercraft.
Oh, look at
Justin.
it.
Yeah. What's
Justin,
it
that
called?
doesn't beat this one, bro.
Look at
Which
it. Takes off and everything.
Shit.
was-
This isn't the same
Come here.
exact one that that
Come
guy
here.
made, but it's similar. to it.
But
He
that'd
almost
be
put it
nice.
into the fence.
Stop it. Come here.
That is
Wouldn't
cool.
mind one of those, I tell you. Flight Institute, I think it is.
Oh.
What'd you think of that one, Ed?
Oh,
Awesome.
that's a good one.
I think this was more the size that David was working on. I
Come
think.
here. Here, come see this.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Now you're talking.
No.
You must need a
Right.
special license to fly that though.
Yeah, because
Yep.
that'd be over
I don't
25
know.
kilos.
I don't know if you do or not, but I mean,
Here.
like I
Now
said, the
you're
guy
talking.
that ran the channel, he had like all the how-to videos on each little part of building it, and he sold you the plans and where to get all the parts and everything. But it was
Yeah,
like
that'd
you
be a
had to
good one, maybe.
program like you had to do like all the programming and everything. Like, it was very an extensive
Just wait.
endeavor.
No, not these.
You'd have to
Yeah.
have some real insurance to fly that baby. Because if that ran into a crowd of people, it'd probably kill somebody.
Well, that's not something you would fly near anything. That's something you'd want to
Yeah.
take out into an open
As
field
Randy
somewhere.
said, it'd be an AMA field.
Well, or you find a huge open field that's got like 10 or 15, 20 acres, that's got lots of room
What are you
and
doing?
nothing around.
Or one of those abandoned airfields.
Golf course.
Yeah, just find anywhere that's
Because,
open.
an abandoned airfield that have a runway.
Oh, there's plenty of places here in Florida you could find to fly that are just open fields. Plenty of room.
Well, Dobo goes on an abandoned golf course, doesn't he, near his house?
Mm.
Stop in the middle of the highway.
Surprised there's even an abandoned golf course where he lives at. Because he lives in the Tampa area.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's just sitting on that property, you wouldn't think that it'd just sit there for long, long periods of time.
Mm.
He flies around the clubhouse and along some of the golf holes and stuff like that.
Tyler Perry is into RC jets. He has a mansion with a huge airfield or a huge field and runway for his planes. I mean, shit, if you got the money, that's the way to do it.
Well, Jeff
There-
Dunham's in. Jeff Dunham's into remote control planes,
Yeah.
helicopters, and drones now as well.
Yep.
There was a guy I saw on YouTube a few years ago who built a massive ass like remote control aircraft carrier and was
John
actually
Travolta.
landing
Yeah.
RC planes on it.
Travolta lives in that air community with his.
Yeah, doesn't he have a 707 in his backyard?
Yeah, he does. So
And
Two
he
planes,
actually
he's
actually
a real
flies.
pilot.
Yeah, he flies
Yeah.
for some of the airlines
Mm.
as a regular
Same
pilot.
as, same as Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden. He's an airline pilot.
Iron Maiden are in concert in London.
Yeah, and he
this
flies.
month, I
Yeah,
think.
he flies their plane around.
I don't know
All
about,
the
I don't
fun.
know if I trust a pilot that's Vinny Barbarito.
Well, that's the thing though, is
Exactly.
John Travolta missed his calling, but became bigger than his calling would have ever got him in life.
Yeah.
So now he can enjoy doing that without the worry of money and stuff.
All the money, yep.
I know a lot of
Yes.
people.
Well, that's what it takes.
Do
Everybody will
something
tell you,
different to their
it
calling.
takes a lot of money to play.
Because I mean, just to maintain a big ass airline like that ain't no joke. It's a lot of maintenance.
Mhm.
That's why a lot of multimillionaires can't even afford a small private jet
Mm.
because they can't afford the maintenance and shit on it.
Mm.
Thought I turned the
expensive.
video off.
That's why
Yeah,
they rent them out when they gotta go somewhere.
No spying on me, Dominic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot, quite a few of the golfers have got their own planes.
I'm
Mm.
working
But
on
I'm
this
saying,
I mean,
project.
hell, Jack Nicklaus's plane is a complete design studio.
Mm.
but I'm saying to have like your own, even small, like say 10 passenger private jet, you got to be worth at least 100-200 million dollars before you
Yeah.
even think about buying one. Because you're
Global
talking
Star
40,
6,000. Yeah.
you're talking about 40 to 60 million dollars just for one plane. You better have a lot of fucking
then
money.
you have to have a crew to fly it, and you have to have all kinds of maintenance.
$1
Yeah,
million
that's what I'm
a
saying.
year just to maintain it.
Well, Jack Nicklaus is worth well over that.
Oh yeah, I'm saying, but you
Yeah.
like if you're just worth 20-30 million, you're not going to be flying around on your own private jet.
No, forget it.
You could rent one out when you want to go somewhere, like if you want to fly overseas or something. You know, you can book one as a private flight, but you're not going to own it.
It's
Well,
always
there's,
like,
actually, there's an app on the phone for doing that, for booking flight private jets.
Yeah.
Well, I saw an advertisement on television that talked about call this private jet company and you get your first flight free.
nice.
Yeah, but you better, they're gonna vet you so hard.
Yeah, they're going to make sure you could pay
Yeah.
for the next flight.
Well, and besides that, I'm thinking it's a one-way flight.
Well, there you go. South Florida drone meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a one-way flight, but even then, like I said, they're going to make sure you could pay for a second flight. They're not just giving everybody a
Yeah.
free flight.
Yeah, you can pay for the return.
They're gonna take you to the bush.
Take a mystery flight.
Yeah, you're going to have to. That's one where, yeah, they're going to have to get some background on you and know who you are.
You know, I hate putting things together and then have to take it apart because, oops, I forgot to put something on.
I like when you're putting that fucking slap together furniture together. You put one bar backwards and then you realize it halfway
Yeah.
through.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, it's so annoying.
oh. Especially the IKEA shit. Oh,
Well, I
And you
mean,
always
pretty
got
much.
that one extra screw.
Well, I mean, pretty much any furniture you buy, whether it's IKEA or you buy it from Walmart or Target, they're all like that. And if you fucking don't, or if you don't really pay attention to the diagram
Yeah,
and
but
you look at where each hole is on the picture, that's all it takes.
What you really don't know is if you end up with an extra couple of screws here and there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that always happens.
is it just some extra screws they put in there?
Because like when
well,
I
you're
put my
supposed to count them all at first.
I was lucky when I put my desk together, it was about 50 or 60 pieces. And I didn't fuck it up. I actually made it through the whole thing without having to go back and do anything because I was really paying attention. Because on all the pictures it showed, you know, these two holes are right here, this one's here. So I was really paying attention because I was like, man, because a lot of times the parts will fit the wrong way. And then you'll get, like I said, you'll get 3 or 4 steps in and then realize that you fucked it up and then you got to backtrack. And that kind of furniture isn't really meant to be torn apart and rebuilt a bunch of times.
Yeah, you got a point. I've done it.
Brenda says, yeah, and he's also a Scientology wacko.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He is.
Him and Tom Cruise and
Yeah.
the one guy from there's another guy, I can't think of his damn name. He's been in a bunch of movies. Trying to think of what he was in.
Mad Prop says his grandfather always told him, son, everyone has to work to survive, but if you want to have fun, you got to work your ass off.
Scientology world headquarters is actually here in Florida, isn't it? In Clearwater, I
Yep.
think. Yeah.
I know it's another one of your bloody American weird religions.
That-
Not mine.
Now that religion is just vastly just weird. And the thing is, they've never been able to get in trouble because they're
Mm.
protected because they're considered a religion, even
Well,
though there's a lot of questionable shit they've done with their money over the years.
Yeah, what
But
is
the
it?
IRS
They don't call it Scientology, do they? They call it Dianetics.
Yep.
Well, Dianetics is the form of how they rate you, I think, isn't it?
Mm.
Because
Yeah,
it's
but that's
actually
what they
called
call
science.
it.
But if
They
you go
call
to
it
the
that
actual,
so they can become a religion.
yeah, because if you actually go to the building, it says Scientology on the building,
Yeah.
on all their buildings. It just that
Well, Joe,
Dianetics.
down south there, what religion is it that has to do with voodoo? Is it voodoo or is there something else?
You literally just said
Oh,
it.
that's
Voodoo.
voodoo. That's not a
It's
religion.
voodoo.
It is.
Jamaican,
It's a
Haitian,
Haiti. Haiti.
Haitian.
Dominican, around that area.
Well, it's a crazy.
Rastafari.
There's another religion that's going to fail.
That's going to be considered that's I would say that's considered a religion.
It is.
Yep. In
And
that area.
there's another one as well where they cut chickens' heads
Oh,
off,
no.
things like that.
No, lay down.
Yeah.
Go lay down.
But see, the IRS
Step
has
up and
wanted
lay
to
down.
investigate the
Step and lay down.
Scientology for years, but they're not allowed to because
Lay down.
they can't because they're protected.
And there've been several documentaries where they try and uncover the Scientology.
Yeah, because what's her name? Leah Remy came out. What about
That's one of
7,
them.
8 years
Look,
ago?
Louis,
Yeah.
Louis Theroux did one. They're the two big ones that I watched. And that's what they're about 5 it's about 5 hours between them.
And it's so crazy because, you think these people with a lot of money like that, have some sense of like just common
Reality?
sense on them. And it's like
Mm.
when you actually dive into that whole following, it's just so fucking out there. It's just like I don't understand how people can follow that. But it's I don't know. I don't know how people fall into it. Because they're literally just practicing science fiction writing. Is what they're doing. He was originally that's what he was, a science fiction writer.
Yep, that's what he
And,
was, yeah.
I mean, it's the same as if somebody took a Harry Potter book and started a religion around it. Just to me would make no sense.
It's a bit like the Eric von Daniken books.
Yep. Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just to be honest, from my own personal opinion, that's how I feel about all religions. I think that I can't believe any of them, but that's just my personal opinion. Everybody has the right to believe what they want.
Mm.
I'm not down on anybody for it. I'm just saying that's my personal thing.
And the
Titanium.
classic line from somewhere within the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Who is
Hey
this
guys,
guy?
hey, I'm pulling into my garage and I'm going to call it a weekend.
Okay,
You
buddy.
guys have a great day.
You
Enjoy
do
your
the
pizza.
same, Lance. We'll
Enjoy
try
your
and keep
pizza.
we'll keep Joe occupied weekend till Monday.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
All
guys.
right.
Hey,
Okay.
take care.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
He's finally gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's still there.
Break out the mead.
So Justin, next week it's back to work.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that, are you?
Well, we only got 2 more months and then summer break rolls around. So
Oh, okay.
I had 2.5 months off.
Joe, what now that it's springtime, what does it become? A lot of baseball stuff and everything, or what?
Baseball, softball, track. But that does not as much as you think because we don't get pulled out that much for it.
Okay.
I might get one game a week or something like this. Now I got a spring football game, should be in April. I have to go to a couple of practices in April, get a couple of shots of the new people. The new position players.
Now
Like,
they
who's
have
taking the next spot.
freshman baseball. They have
JV
JV, and then they have
and varsity.
varsity.
Same thing with softball.
Yeah,
So I could have 3 games in a day.
life coaching classes that cost millions. Randy says, like, if you're already worth millions, what the fuck do you need a life coach for?
Mm.
Got
If
a point.
anything, you just need some fucking therapy. Go to the therapist. I mean, obviously your life's going okay for as far as financially goes, so just a mental thing. Go see a psychologist. Probably pay Dr. Phil for a lot less.
Yep.
Dr. Phil.
I actually like Dr. Phil. I like watching his show. That's a smart guy. One
You
of the few
actually,
people in Hollywood that actually has some common sense.
you actually
Mm.
think that show is real though? It's not staged?
I would say nah. He comes off as pretty authentic. I wouldn't think so. No. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't. I mean, you could be right, but I don't know. He just seems like the type of person that wouldn't be into that kind of show. But like I said, he's one of the few people in Hollywood that actually has any common fucking sense.
Now they're talking about a measles outbreak.
Oh no.
Yeah, we didn't have measles until they started
Well,
having people coming to the country that didn't have
That's,
to get
that's
vaccinated.
because of the pharmaceutical companies looking to make some money.
You got a
we're,
point.
we're all having to get shingles injections now,
Yep. Shingles is big over here.
which was adult chicken pox.
Yep, I've
Yeah.
had shingles.
You see the shingle commercials over here all the time. If you
Mm.
have chicken pox as a child, you might be susceptible to shingles.
You are subject. You need to get shot.
Yeah.
I thought it was the
uh,
other way around. I thought that if you'd had chicken pox as a child, you would be resistant to shingles.
No, you have
No.
the virus in you.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
it automatically gives you the virus,
Virus
but
is in you somewhere.
it could
Yeah.
sit dormant or it could break out at any point.
Oh, I know. I've had one inoculation. I'm due another one.
Yeah, make sure you get it done. Because I've seen shingles when I worked medical.
Oh, it's not
and
nice.
I saw
I
it
know.
in high school. I saw it in high school. My girlfriend's mom had it. She had it on her back, and it looked disgusting.
So you got to have a shingle parties like they used to have the pox parties. Remember
Yeah.
those? Everybody bring their kids over and infect them all at one time. It's like a herd mentality with the chicken pox. back
How
in the day.
are your kids doing, Justin? Do you got any ones that are a little sickly or not, or are they all pretty good?
No. And actually, none of them have ever had chicken pox, to be honest with you. I think that's one of those viruses that they've slowly it's still around, but I think it's less and less each
That's like bird flu. I never heard of bird flu until recently.
well, what I'm
Mm.
saying is it's kind of like
Bird flu's been around quite a while.
it's kind of like some other ones that they've slowly killed off over. I think chicken pox, I don't think there's as many cases as there was like 30, 40 years ago because there's a lot more vaccines and different things these days. And
Well, you had rubella, which was German measles,
German measles.
what's the one that was on your tonsils? That mumps.
Tonsillitis.
Mumps.
yeah, I don't know,
Mumps.
but I
Mumps.
think
Yeah.
I had that.
that shingles is more deadly though if you've never had chicken pox, right? Like it can be, I think
Worms.
chicken pox. Hold on.
Do you guys remember the
shingles,
worms?
Rubella was a problem with pregnant women.
Mm.
They've almost got rid of polio.
Mm-hmm.
Due to widespread vaccination, chickenpox is now rare in the United States, with cases declining by over 97% since the program began in 1995. Yeah, like I said, I've noticed a lot of kids these days I haven't seen anybody with chicken pox in years. I haven't heard of anybody's kids having it or anything. It's kind of like what was the real bad disease back in the day that's pretty much obliterated now.
Scarlet
It's,
fever.
No, not scarlet fever. It was
No.
tuberculosis? No,
Tuberculosis.
Polio.
polio. I think
Yeah,
chicken
polio
pox
is
is going to be like polio eventually. You might have like 1 or 2 cases a year in the United States. I don't know about polio, but I'm saying like I think eventually it's going to be like where it's going to
Hey, Jim.
Oh, oh, Joe, that stuff hurts. Chicken pox.
I had it when I was a kid, but I
Yeah,
don't
Yeah.
I had
remember
it.
it. I was like 5 or 6, so I don't really remember having it.
That was the same thing. 6, probably 6, 7. It was just before I came to Canada. And the more you scratch it, the worse it is.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Like tuberculosis isn't a huge thing over here. It's actually more common in prisons and stuff.
It's almost like eczema.
Yeah,
Eczema, if you scratch on
consumption.
one side and you
Yeah.
touch,
Eczema. Yeah.
Yep. I've got eczema.
Yeah, I haven't known any kids that've had chicken pox though in probably 20 years. None of my nephews, nieces, none of them have ever had it.
Well, when I was 7 or 8 years old,
That's it.
maybe 9, I had polio.
Yeah. That chicken's
Randy.
religion was Santeria.
what's
But
polio? If you don't mind?
My polio was non-paralytic. But I remember being up at the hospital for like 3 or 4 months up in the polio ward. And there were some people on the big, like the iron lungs and stuff. and
The iron
everything.
lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last guy to actually use one of those just recently died in the last like 5 years. He was the last one. He was in his like 60s or 70s when he died, but he had been on the iron. They actually had to have a team of engineers come in to maintain the machine because nobody knew how they worked, and so they had to have a special group of guys come in that apparently used to work on these things back in the day, come in and fix his machine for him and keep it maintained because nobody knew how to work
Back
on
in my
it.
secret project.
Okay.
No worries.
I got 2 weeks to have it together.
There you go. Yeah. Polio was big back in the late 50s, early 60s. That's when I had it.
What's polio? If you don't mind me asking.
It's a viral thing that attacks
The nervous system.
the nervous
joints
system,
and nervous system and bones.
Yeah,
bones-
degenerative disease.
bones, muscles,
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty much eradicated nowadays.
But see, mine was non-paralytic, so I didn't get paralyzed. But a lot of kids did get paralyzed.
Yeah.
wow.
Just like
They used to be inoculated for it by a drop of something on a sugar cube.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
there's the Black Plague is actually still around. There's actually, I think, 2 or 3 cases a year in the United States
Yes.
that people actually get it, but they have the means to get rid of it now. But there's still actually a few cases a year that they get of that.
I mean, if you ever followed the disabled golf tour, there is an Irish lad, Brendan. He's got polio, and yet he still plays golf off scratch.
Oh, great.
Yeah, what was that guy's name? I remember watching the thing on him. He was last guy with the iron lung. Yeah, last man known to be using an iron lung, Paul Alexander, a polio survivor, died on March 11th, 2024. So it was just recently. I thought it was a couple years ago.
Done to see me?
after living in an iron lung for 72 years.
Jeez.
And he has the Guinness World Record for that. And I think nobody's going to be breaking that anytime soon.
Wow.
Mhm.
But I remember watching the video on it, and they said they had to have a couple of guys, like new engineers, and they had to get in touch with people that were old, a lot older and
Few more
retired that
minutes.
used to work on them because nobody knew how to fucking maintain the machine.
Nobody knew it. Yep.
Yeah.
And there was one point where the machine broke down, and they had to come in an emergency, fix the machine as quick as possible to keep them alive.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, that machine actually breathed for him.
Mm.
Yeah, and the problem was nobody made parts for it anymore either, so they had to fabricate parts and everything for it. You don't really have to. I don't know. I think the polio vaccine's still a thing. I said it's pretty much eradicated at this point. I don't know if there's any cases of it around the world still. Probably in some third world countries, probably.
Well, yeah, there's still quite a lot of people still got it.
Mm.
Just a lot of the Western.
They might not be getting it now, but there are people still alive that have got it.
Right, I'm saying, but I'm talking about new cases. I'm sure there's probably some in some third world countries, but most of the Western countries have pretty much eradicated that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, TB was the same. That's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the only time you ever hear really about tuberculosis over here is sometimes they might have an outbreak in a prison. Very rarely. That tends to be the only place you ever hear about, because they still do that. Like when you go to prison or jail, they actually still test you for TB when you come in.
Yeah.
And then like some certain procedures that doctors will do, they'll ask you, have you been to prison in the last 6 months? And if you have, they'll actually do a TB test on you.
Joe,
I've had
did you ever work on transporting any people that had that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did. We had one incident with we go to the room that we're taking from one hospital to another. And I'm working with a guy named Vic Fody. And I'm standing in the room to get the patient with the two and there's no nurses in the room. They say, yeah, she's in so-and-so room. So we go down there and stop. I go down there to start checking on her. I'm in the room and Vic walks in the room and we're both standing in the room and we're talking to her and checking on her. Nothing on the door, nothing. Saying what's wrong with her.
Supposed to be in isolation suits.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So we get up there and when all of a sudden the two nurses come walking in isolation gear. And I looked at her and I said, what the hell is that for? Oh, she's got tuberculosis. And we're standing next to the bed talking to her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Fody threw the metal clipboard down the hallway and cursed the two nurses out. Said, I can't believe there's nothing on the freaking door.
Yeah,
And one of the nurses said,
why
"Well,
didn't it say isolation ward, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
they were getting ready to move it, so they took it off the door. But they didn't tell us. We walked right by them. They said, she's in so-and-so room. Okay, we'll be down there. They didn't say anything to us.
And you didn't have
they
the
didn't say,
proper
"Don't
garb
go
on.
in."
No, we had no mask, anything on, right? So I stepped out in the hallway and I said, 722 control. They said, what? I said, be advised. I said, we have just been exposed to tuberculosis. Both me and Vic. Like that. And Bruce comes on and he says, what happened? I told him. He says, okay, isolate, get your gear on. Got the gear on. And he said, as soon as you transport the patient, bring the unit in. So we brought the unit in.
You might as
Yeah,
well
they had
take
to
it now if you've already been exposed to it. Waste of time letting
Well,
somebody else do it.
Well, we brought the unit in so they could decontaminate it.
Decontaminate the unit.
And we were sent directly to the doctor to get baseline work, to get blood work and everything, so that if a couple of months we came down with tuberculosis, you know, we had the spot where it happened. And then 3 days later, we get a patient in a unit, and I'm in the back with the patient, and we're driving down the road, and control calls, and she goes, 42P. Said 42. She goes, give us a call, please. And they said, pull over and give us a call. That's what they said. I said, oh shit, what's the matter? So I thought something happened to my family. So I thought, I call up and Jody says, that patient you have that's in the thing that they said had the flu has tuberculosis.
Again.
2 in about 3 days, and she's in the back of the unit coughing.
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go and say hello to Art. So
Okay, Dominic.
We'll catch you later.
Yes, yeah,
another
Dominic.
time.
So that was within 2 days. You had two.
Within 3 days, 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it didn't matter if you had somebody that had something like that, as long as you knew about it.
Yeah, because you'd be prepared.
Yeah, you're prepared. And then when we get the unit up, when we get them out the unit, we've got the stuff to clean the unit, you know, to spray it down and kill everything.
It's crazy to think too that people back in like the early 1900s and shit died from like fucking just having a fever, and if they would have just had an ibuprofen or something to break the fucking fever, they wouldn't have died. You know, it's just like basic shit that we take for granted these days. You know.
Yeah.
You get a fever, you just take a swig of NyQuil and ibuprofen, and then like 2 hours later, your fever breaks.
Yeah.
When you see that new commercial about a health kit, they talk about, I can't remember what the name of it is.
The Jake case?
Healthy Home, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's a health kit that you can go online and purchase. You don't need prescriptions or anything like that. And they have antibiotics, all kind of stuff in it.
Yeah, it's called the Jake case too.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil promotes it on his channel all the time on YouTube.
Yeah, that's crazy because you're gonna give somebody that doesn't know what they're taking, and they got cause more problems.
Well, unless they're good, yeah. I mean, I could see it being an issue, but
So what did you have to do, Joe, for you in your case there when that person had it?
Yeah, all we had to do was basically test in 6 months.
Okay.
You know, again, blood work every 6 months for 2 years.
Wow.
There's not much else you can do.
It was a pain.
There is no actual cure for it once you've got it.
Warren was saying in the chat it can be treated nowadays with antibiotics, but I don't know. You're talking about tuberculosis, right?
Right. Well, the biggest thing we weren't worried about stuff like that. We were worried about the the exposure to bloodborne diseases, because that's almost immediate, you know.
Brenda just said in the chat that she had shingles in 2020. She said it really was painful.
It's not the Jake case; it's the Jace case.
Stop.
Right here.
Stop.
Am I sharing the right screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good boy.
So this is it, and then you can click here and you go through a whole thing. They ship to the United States and Canada. Are you existing patient? No.
No.
And then it asks you like how many children, myself.
How much is the case?
I don't know, but I know, like I said, I first saw it when I was watching a Dr. Phil episode a couple weeks ago, and he was promoting it, and he said you could put his code in for 20% off.
Nice.
But I don't know how much it costs.
It's a nice case. I can fit my drone in there.
But yeah,
It'd be cheaper buying a drone case.
But it's just like Joe said, it's supposed to be a survival case that has antibiotics and like, you know, all your over-the-counter medicines, and it's supposed to be like just jam-packed with a bunch of different medicines.
Yeah, but just like Joe said, what about if the person's allergic to the medication that you're giving him?
Well, why?
Well,
Brenda just said that she still got scars from having the
shingles.
What
because
kind of
you're
scars would it be? It's just like a rash, or
because you're scratching into your
like
skin,
a
right?
blistering rash.
Okay, so I see Joe's argument there, but if you're gonna buy something like that and you're buying it for your immediate family, then you should actually go and make sure that everybody, you know what everybody's allergic to, have all that information. And hopefully they give you enough detailed booklet in there to tell you what antibiotics to use for what symptoms. To try to, obviously nobody, you know, your average person's not gonna be a doctor, but maybe they could dumb it down enough to where the average person would be able to know what to use
Yeah.
and what to look for. I mean, most of us will know certain things too, right? Like, say we're in a survival situation and one of you has an abscess tooth, then we're gonna know, you know, erythromycin, you know, pretty much any antibiotic, your basic antibiotic's gonna work for that to get rid of the infection. I mean, so I could see some stuff like that, but as long as you know what family members are allergic to what, then I don't see the issue with it. I think if you really like try to learn about as much of it as possible. I wouldn't just buy it and then throw it in your closet and never look at it again, you know.
Yeah.
I would definitely be digging into it, trying to learn a little bit about everything that's in there.
You mean just like my kid? Last week, she's allergic to shellfish. Last Saturday, we went to a restaurant, the whole family. She forgot to tell the waitress about her shellfish, and she ordered some French fries and some other stuff. She was eating the French fries. They cooked it with the same oil. Within not even 5 minutes, we were laughing, talking. All of a sudden, she just turned pure red. She said her throat was starting to swallow.
You have to use
And-
EpiPen
No,
or
she
something?
she left it at home. Her
Oh,
boyfriend had to
shit.
run right across the street. Good thing the Walmart was still open. She went to get some kind of pill that you take, and it just cures. It was so scary, man. It was
Is it kind of like
melatonin. I want to say melatonin.
I don't know if nitro would do that.
Hold on.
it's probably kind of like a allergy pill, like Benadryl, but
Like a Benadryl, probably.
probably more high zoot and quicker reacting.
See, nitro would give you somewhat that reaction because it's a bronchial dilator.
Just telling them the story.
But I don't think it give you enough. What I told you. I told you stop doing that.
But if anybody is interested in the Jace case, go to Dr. Phil's channel. He's got a promo code on there.
It was an allergy pill. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Probably
probably
like
like a Benadryl type.
Yeah, and then after about 10 minutes, she was totally fine.
Yeah, I'd have been fucking snorting that damn
Leave him
Benadryl,
alone.
getting it up in my
Leave
bloodstream
him
as quick as
alone.
possible.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be forgetting your EpiPen if you're that allergic to shit.
Yeah, no, my wife is the same way. She's allergic to shellfish.
The only person that has any kind of allergic to anything in my house is Sarah. She's allergic to penicillin, but she can take like erythromycin and other antibiotics. She just can't take penicillin. So other than that, nobody else has it. All the other kids have all been on penicillin and all that different antibiotics over the years. We've never had any issues. I bet there's some families that are so allergic to shit, dude. You can walk in their house with peanut dust and wipe out the whole fucking family. 5 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Just go in there and just blow some peanut dust across the room and everybody's going down.
Yeah, no, it was scary, let me tell you.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah. Especially not having the pen with you.
Even the waitress was freaking out, and then the manager came and she was kind of freaking out and
But I bet y'all are double checking.
apologizing.
Bet y'all are double checking to make sure you got that pen with you now,
Oh yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that the restaurant in the manager's office would have
It's a
a couple of
prescription.
EpiPens?
No, it's a
No.
prescription. They
No,
can't do that.
Control
It's not like-
substance.
It's not like they can have, I don't know about down there, but here, all the sports events, all the arenas, they have that respirator, whatever it's called, like the shocker. It's not like that.
Because there's
Not a
different
defibrillator.
dosages. Well, there's different dosages and different types for different allergies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't, there's not just one fix all pen. So That's your problem there is they can't just have one laying around.
And they're expensive here. I don't know about down there, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can
They're
be
not cheap.
expensive here too.
They're over $100 each.
But if you're smart and really pay attention and try not to get in that situation, hopefully you shouldn't have to use them that often.
No, no. But I mean,
But
they
like
can
you, but like what happened with your daughter, I mean, sometimes you slip up and just don't realize, it happens. But that's what it's the good thing about having one for if you get in that situation.
yeah, we didn't know that they cook their fish with the same oil as the French fries, right?
And why would you? I mean, you're not back there cooking it, so that was just it was just a simple accident.
Yeah.
Luckily, it all worked out.
Wait a-
It was like, you ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses?
No.
Oh God, the second movie, he gives the whole premise of the movie is there's three guys and they all try to kill each other's bosses because they all hate their bosses. And so they come up with this stupid plan where, all right, we'll just murder each other's bosses so there's no connection back to ourselves. Right.
Yeah.
And so two of them are sneaking into one of the boss's houses, into their boss's house and like, surveilling it or whatever. And the other guy's sitting out in the car and he's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He throws the bag out. And the one boss happens to walk by his car and sees him throw the trash down. He picks it up and it turns out he's super allergic to peanuts. And he could have let the boss sit there and die, but instead he pulls the EpiPen out and saves him. Doesn't realize it's the other guy's boss.
Shit.
Oh, you got to watch those movies. They're hilarious. Dude, you'll never look at Jennifer Aniston the same again after watching those movies. She is a sex freak in those movies.
Oh. What's it called again? I'll look it up.
Horrible Bosses. There's two of them. There's Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses 2. They're both really funny. It's got Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, and I can't remember the other two guys' names. Oh yeah, dude, you'll have a laugh. Those are really funny comedies. And Kevin Spacey's in them. Kevin Spacey's hilarious.
Oh, he's funny, that guy.
Oh yeah, you'll have a laugh with him. His character's such a fucking dickhead. Yeah, if you want to have a good laugh, those are some good movies to watch. I rewatched Hall Pass a couple weeks ago. That movie's pretty funny.
What time is art on, Joe?
Yeah, he
Already
just
on.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming out with Goons too.
Oh, like Goons, like Goonies?
Yeah, the Goonie,
Oh, okay.
the kids one.
I don't even remember the first one, to be honest with you. I haven't seen that movie in over 20 some years.
I much preferred batteries not included.
Oh, I remember that movie. Or what was the movie about the toys that company developed? It was a Toy Soldier? What the hell was the name of that movie? It was like Toy Soldier or something like that. About these toys this company like builds and they put this AI shit all in them and everything. And they come to life. I can't remember what the hell the name of it is.
I don't remember that one.
I
think
wanna
there
say it's
was.
like- let's see here. I want to say it came out in the late 90s or early 2000s.
Oh, bless
I
you,
know
Paul.
there was a song called Toy Soldiers. I know that. No, want that in Cyndi Lauper's song? Toy
I don't
Soldier.
know. Eminem had a song called Toy Soldier too, so I'm not sure. There is a movie called Toy Soldier, but it's not the same movie I'm thinking of.
But if you do, then no groceries.
What was the name of that fucking movie? Small Soldiers. It was a 1998 film.
No, I've never seen it.
That was one about a family that owned a toy store, and then this company develops these toys, and they don't want them to just be like kind of GI Joe type toys, so they put this like military chip inside of them, that's some AI military chip, and then they give them like this like top secret battery that like never dies and shit, and these things like start awakening and
You let
fucking
me do
going
that.
nuts.
Cool.
You see, I got Loki right here, and I'm grabbing him and pulling him and squeezing him and pulling his hair, and he just let me do it.
Wow.
And he normally he's really skittish like that.
Well, is Loki the one you have to put the eye drops in?
No, that's Tina.
How's that
I don't
going?
know if I could. I don't. Well, it's I gotta call them tomorrow maybe, because he's got the right eye is still kind of puffy on the bottom, just the bottom eyelid. But that was the one that made me call them because it was so bad. So it might just be getting better a little bit at a time. But it's
Okay.
enough that but what he's doing too, I'm catching him over here, licking his paw and licking it. So he's probably
Oh.
irritating it too.
He's just cleaning his eye.
Randy, are you
I know,
talking
but I think
about
it's irritating it, you know.
Randy? You
I'm
talking
about
about
to
the
put a cone
remake,
on him.
the remake of Chips, the movie of the show?
But that's a $50 bottle of freaking eye drops. And I'm about to be out of them, you know.
So you put 2 drops in the eye every day?
1 to 2 every 6 hours.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
6 to 12 hours.
yeah.
So
That
I've
was
been doing it about 3 times a day, about every 8 hours.
oh that
And
yeah, that
like
was a
this morning when I woke up, when he woke up this morning, it looked pretty good. But I said, let me put a drop in because I don't want it to reverse. And then a little while ago when I put the drop in, it looked a little worse. It had more red to it. So now it looks pretty good. I'll put one more drop later tonight before he goes to sleep. But if he when he gets over there, so he's licking it, I'm worried about him doing that and leaving a trace of the infection, and the other ones get it. You know,
yeah, Randy. I saw that movie. It was pretty funny.
I don't
A
need
matter
3
of,
dogs with an eye infection.
a matter of fact, Michael Pena, I think, or whatever, however you pronounce his last name, he's actually in Scientology too. If you didn't know that, that's who I was trying to think of earlier.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his name.
He lets you do it, Joe? Okay.
All right, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. I'm
Okay.
gonna go get Sarah from the church, and then I'll be back.
Ed was asking if the dog lets you put the drops in his eyes.
Oh, Tino, yeah, but Loki, never happened. It would probably happen. I told him, I said, "You want to drop it?" I reached out to get him. He's under the bed. That quick. But if I got over there and I said, "I'm putting a drop in your eye," and I held him, it might get bit the first time. It might growl at me a couple of times, but I can get it in there.
Yeah, mine every 2 days. I gotta clean the corner of the eyes.
Yeah.
You leave that little stuff on the eye.
Well, that's how
Oh.
Loki's eyes are. He comes over here and I get a towel and I start to wipe him, and he gets away from me to growl at me, and I said,
Yeah.
"I'm cleaning him, leave me alone."
That's what mine does.
I said, you clean them or I clean them, one or the other. And the other two don't have any problem with the eye like that. It's just Tina. I mean, Loki. Trump said he's going to start they're going to start charging people with domestic terrorism, with the cyber, all the stuff with the keying and all the stuff happening to Teslas. And he said, what they're going to do, he said, you're going to wind up in El Salvador with the rest of the terrorists.
Well, here's what, and I think I mentioned this before. Why, when they're reporting about the Tesla stuff, why isn't the news media keying in on the fact that he's got insurance and the insurance is paying for all that bullshit?
Yeah, Fox
and
ought to even be doing
everybody's
that.
rates and insurance are going to go up to pay for that.
I know.
Well, here last night they announced in the news that they were going to stop that rebate. Apparently, you get a rebate if you buy one.
Yeah.
So they're going to stop that.
But my point is that you and I are paying insurance rates. Do you think that insurance companies are going to continue to pay for these millions of dollars worth of damage to property and
to a
cars?
degree.
No, it's going to come back on us.
That's right. It's going to raise our rates. And
Yeah.
you don't see the news media even mentioning that.
Yeah, they don't want you to know. That's why.
In fact, I tried to call in to a couple of the news agents, but you can't talk to anybody. Nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
No. Only if you have something interesting that they want to know.
Bernie Sanders says, I don't know if that's terrorism, them attacking it. That's domestic terrorism.
Yep.
Sure it is.
I'll put it this way. If I'm driving down the street and I got a Tesla and the guy stops in front of me and he's got a bat or something, he's going to come over and start hitting on the thing, they're going to have to come get him off the ground because he's going to have a couple of holes he didn't start with.
Yep.
I would have just driven
Like,
right
hey,
over.
you got to realize, sometimes you don't know who you're fooling with. Me as a former Marine, I don't care. You know, you can start beating on my car and I don't know if you're going to beat on me. I'm going to shoot you.
Shoot him right on the ding dong. Don't.
They ain't gonna be that close. All he's gonna do, I'm gonna let him hit it once. I'm gonna let him hit the car once. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
I would have just drive him over.
Now I'm gonna make sure that you can see the assault. You know what he was
Yep.
doing.
Yep. Because I know I don't want to harp on this, but it just blows my mind that we live in a society where we all have to have insurance for everything, whether it's cars, houses,
Yeah.
personal, whatever. And these guys, these terrorists, are out costing millions and billions of dollars in insurance claims. And
Yep.
nobody's even mentioning that because it's all going to come back to the consumer, whether you own a Tesla or not. Your insurance rates are going to go up because the insurance companies aren't going to just pass the
Yeah.
money through.
Right.
But why are they doing that every country? It's because they're brainwashed by one
Yep.
person.
Yep.
Well, guys, what do you think?
Yeah.
Ed, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Oh, thank you. No, I was having
Okay.
internet
Yeah. I'm
issues.
gonna go heat up my food.
Okay, Joe, you go chow down. Justin,
Justin
he went to go
Yeah, he
get
said
his,
he'd be back in about 10 minutes, but he'll be
pick his
fine. How we
wife
going?
up. Yep.
We going.
Okay, Mark, take care.
Okay then, Paul. See you.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you.
Okay,
We'll see
later.
you all.